In this video, we're looking at the locations for the Granville train disaster, which occurred on Tuesday morning, January the 18th, 1977, in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. Now, the train involved in the Granville disaster began its journey at Mount Victoria Station in the Blue Mountains of New South Wales. And that's this station right here. So this is where the Granville train disaster began. Now, the train departed Mount Victoria at 6:09 AM heading to Sydney Central Station, about 97 kilometres away. Now, that train ride took approximately virtually 2 hours. So let's see if we can, it's a fair distance obviously from the Blue Mountains into Sydney. Okay, so there's Mount Victoria there, and it travelled, I think, on this path here all the way into Granville Station, which is right around here, which is right there. So let's go now to Granville Station. So there's Granville Station. Now, the train, of course, was heading there, but before it reached Granville Station, so there's Granville Station right there, but before it got into the station, it came through this part here, this track here, and right around here is where it derailed. And this bridge here, which is these days called Bridge Street, though I believe it was Bold Street at the time, but this was the bridge that was taken down by the crash, by the derailment of the train, and this bridge collapsed onto the train itself. So just before Granville Station here, Bold Street Bridge here. So that's where the Granville train disaster occurred. This was the scene of the Granville disaster on January 18th, 1977. That bridge, the Bold Street Bridge, is the bridge that collapsed onto the train. Obviously not the same bridge, but it was in that location right there. Now, I'm shooting this from Granville Station because, while it's a bit further away, it's the best angle I can get on the bridge, other than being on the bridge. So let's wait for these trains to clear out. Where that second train on the left is going. So it was Tuesday morning, January the 18th, 1977. An 8-carriage train departed from Mount Victoria in the Blue Mountains, which is about maybe 70 kilometres from here, departing at 6:09 AM heading towards Sydney. At 8:10 AM the train was coming into Granville Station, which is where I'm standing right now. But as it approached that bridge, the train derailed. The first 2 carriages broke free and passed under the bridge. The first carriage actually, I think, came off the tracks, and 8 people were killed when it hit a severed mast. I think the second carriage was in the clear, but the third and fourth carriages came to rest underneath that bridge. Now, when the train derailed, it smashed into a pylon holding the bridge up. shattering it and obviously severely weakening the bridge. So the third and fourth carriages were under the bridge, and then within seconds that entire bridge collapsed onto portions of the third and fourth carriage. Now half of those killed were killed instantly, and the rest obviously as time passed on. Now some were actually alive after being crushed, but when the weight was lifted from them, they died. 83 people in all were killed. 213 were injured. They have recently, I believe, added a 84th name to the list of an unborn child. Now the rescue operation was amazing. It lasted for about 2 days before everybody was rescued. A monumental effort by the rescue workers. At the inquest, the train driver who survived was cleared of any wrongdoing, and the fault was laid on the track. They claimed it was poor fastening of the track which caused the derailment. And the bridge was extra heavier with more concrete, I believe. They had added, apparently there was like a metre difference, unlevel on the bridge, so they added some more concrete to it, which would have made it even heavier. In May 2017, the New South Wales government offered an official apology for the disaster. So that's where it occurred. Pull back a bit. The Bolt Street Bridge in Granville. The train from the Blue Mountains would have been coming in that direction, and just in front of it, it was around there. It derailed, crashed into the pylon, and fatally weakened the bridge. The bridge then collapsed onto the train and killing the 83 people. That's still Australia's worst train disaster. So I wish I could get a better view from the other side of that bridge, but I can't. It's just, there's no way to shoot that from that side. There's fencing and obscured by trees, whatever, but we'll go onto the bridge, the Bold Street Bridge, or Bridge Street I think as it's called now, and just have a quick look at the actual bridge. Here at the side of the Granville rail disaster. I'm standing on the Bold Street Bridge. Well, it used to be that. I think it's now just called Bridge Street. But this is the direction that the train came from that morning, and straight into, I know I can't, I've got an obstructed view here, but at some point it derailed around here before crashing into this very bridge that I'm standing on right now. Well, not the actual bridge, obviously that was rebuilt and I think redesigned, but the Bold Street Bridge, which I'm now standing on, is the one that collapsed on top of the train that morning. This entire bridge collapsing onto the Granville train, just short of Granville Station. There is an excellent memorial for the Granville train victims right next to the site, on the corner of Railway Parade and Carlton Street, and that is the actual bridge that collapsed on top of the train. So only 50 metres or so from the site. It's a large memorial, just to fit a lot of names on. Australia remembers Granville, the Day of the Roses. "83 names. Amazing. Very beautifully done, really is. And just to the right of that, there's some more plaques over here, little memorial garden. This one was placed here on the 25th anniversary in 2002. There's another sign, this rest area. And a third one in memory of 6 of our colleagues who perished in the Granville train disaster, January 18, 1977. 6 people who worked at a bank, I guess, and the bank has established a plaque for them. So it's a whole memorial plaque area. Here in Granville, to honour all the victims. Rest in peace to all the victims.